Shout out to Ernest. He dropped a $5 super chat. He says, if Miro, Stark, and Black go to WWE, where would you place them in WWE? So
we talked about Black yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think SmackDown needs the most help in that mid card right now. Just like the IC title is very, very well off on Raw, the US title needs some help. So that's a very big weakness for WWE currently. So honestly, if I had it my preference, Miro and Black both go to SmackDown. Starks goes to NXT because NXT needs somebody in the main event scene to help lift up the show.
Yeah,
Starks
and we're not saying that Ricky Starks has to stay in NXT. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
We're just saying put the guy there and really help that men's main event scene because it is in need of some serious help right now.
Yeah. And also really quick, I just want to address this. I got a tweet response just a moment ago. Okay. Because I tweeted that Ricky is free and clear, and I said, let's fucking go. And Stooge, who hides behind a fake profile pic, says, funny seeing all these fans off his coming out of the work. Y'all never support him in AEW, and it's hilarious.
So I love fucking hilarious.
I think this is what's funny is I think these are the people that Tony Khan actually books for. So I think that's like the funniest aspect of it all because anybody who watched NWA saw Ricky Starks was a star, and we were elated to see that he got a TV deal. TV contract with the company.
Dude, so I remember when he debuted.
Yeah. We wanted these guys to succeed. And actually, this is where Ango's been such a bad fucking person on the IWC. Because I called it Miro, Stark, and Black. I mean, I've said it. They've all been mishandled in AEW since initially they've been in AEW. So shout out to me for constantly fucking being right. And then constantly, constantly being right when I don't want to be, bro.
Stooge thinks you're wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just, I think the reason why I want them in WWE, well, first and foremost, look who's fucking going to be booking them. Simple as that.
Yeah, God forbid I want these guys to be handled a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just such a shame.
As a fan, I want that. Yeah. God forbid,
Yeah. Obviously, I answered the super chat. Billy, you kind of answered it yesterday, but go ahead and respond with your.
Yeah, no, I naturally agree with you. I think Starks goes to NXT, help that main event scene, and then you could put Miro and Black on SmackDown, really help that US title picture.
Yeah. And don't forget my fantasy booking from like a month ago, Aleister Black.
Yeah, you just
want heavyweight champion.
You just want to get him in.
Yeah, I just want to get him in and become a world champion. So
they could put him on Raw, have him go be a contender against Jay.
No, not yet.
I don't know.
Nope, because the Sammy story is better.
Oh, yes. I forget we have to go through that.
Yes.
Because that'll be fire.
Yeah. Shout out to Ernest for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. LMCT dropping $4.99. How would you handle releasing talent from the contracts that would make business sense, also taking into consideration the public relations impact? Great question. Great super chat.
Very good one.
Billy, I'll let you go first.
So how would I handle releasing talent from their contracts? So obviously you have to have like a serious talk with these people, and you need to sit them down. But to really protect the publicity behind it in the public eye, I think the best way to handle it is just making sure that you're leaving each other on good terms, right? It really is that simple. Don't let things, you have to make things clear in the beginning. And again, we've kind of talked about it with Tony Khan. You really have to make them clear in the beginning that, hey, no matter what, this is business at the end of the day. And a business relationship and a personal relationship are two different and very different things. So just because we'll just use Ricky Starks, for example, just because Ricky Starks was released from his AEW contract doesn't mean that he necessarily hates Tony Khan, the human, right? He may just not like Tony Khan on the business level. He may not like the business that Tony Khan has done. So I think the best way to protect that is just making it known, like, hey, dude, we just didn't see eye to eye on a business level, and we couldn't get business done, and it sucks, but, let's move forward. I hope you succeed, and, I wish the best for you. I mean, look at the way Cody's handled the situation since leaving AEW. I don't think I've ever heard him talk bad about AEW. I genuinely don't.
That's never going to come out.
And even if it doesn't, then there's a reason why it won't. You know what I mean? It's to protect maybe the personal feelings towards somebody. You know what I mean? And maybe Cody has that personal belief that, like, hey, Tony was once a really good person to me. You know what I mean? And we just didn't see eye to eye business wise, and maybe it got a little personal, but at the end of the day, I'm protecting his integrity.
Cody's smarter than that. You never burn bridges.
Exactly. Boom. There you go. You never burn bridges. You can't do it.
Tony Khan's like a flower. He's delicate. You hurt his feelings, you're probably never coming back. Triple H and WWE have shown us, historically speaking, that, hey, if it just makes sense for business, we'll fucking get over it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Look at Punk.
To answer this question, good answer, Billy. To answer this question, I would do things a little bit differently. My process, if I was in Tony Khan or Triple H's shoes, the way I would handle release is very simple. I would look at the talent that I'm thinking about releasing. I'm going to sit down with them one-on-one. And I'm going to tell them, hey, this is the situation. Right now, you are borderline being cut from the company. I'm not trying to derail your morale. I want to be very, very clear with you and give you a chance, a second opportunity. Okay? So I would forewarn them ahead of time. I would have a conversation. And I would say, this is how it's going to work. Okay? We feel like where you are currently at as a character and what you are currently at as a performer is not really up to our standards. We don't really see an opportunity to make money with you. I want you to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to send you to Ring of Honor. We're going to send you to NXT. We're going to have you work with a small group of people. Maybe in AEW, it would be Jerry Lynn and Big Show and somebody else, you know. In NXT, it would be A-Train and, you know, Robbie Taylor and all those guys and Norman Smiley. And we're going to basically give you 2 months. We're going to give you 2 months, 8 weeks. We're going to give you 8 weeks to come up with a concept for a character that you feel would genuinely work. You're going to be responsible for this. You're going to be responsible. You're going to cut promos. You're going to send tapes of you working in the Performance Center. And in Ring of Honor, we'll put you on TV with this character or work a dark match or something like that. We'll give you 8 weeks. If you come up with something that's enticing, we'll keep you. For the duration of your contract. We'll give you 8 weeks. That's how I would handle it. I would literally give people a second opportunity. I would let them know, hey, you're fucking up. You're not where we want you to be. We don't really see an opportunity here, but we're asking you to show me that I'm wrong before I give you up and let you go somewhere else.
Well, that was kind of what you were saying about the 90-day clause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, obviously, talking about that 90-day clause. But I say 8 weeks. I say 8 weeks is enough time. And then what I would do is if I have somebody, for example, in AEW, which I want to use a name that's not gone from the company. So let me pull up the AEW roster. This is really weird fantasy booking or hypothetically speaking of releasing a talent, but I'm just going to use...
It's all hypothetical. This isn't happening.
Yeah. Let's just say, for example, Anthony Bowens, because I love Anthony Bowens. That's the guy who I've been saying since day one should be a world champion at one point.
Yes.
So let's just say Anthony Bowens splits up from the Acclaimed, and it's like they don't have a plan for both of them. So I'm going to have a conversation with Anthony Bowens and be like, hey, I want you to know that we're behind you. We support you. However, right now as it stands, we're kind of on the verge of cutting you.
Because we have nothing for you to do.
We have nothing for you to do. It doesn't make financial sense. We're not really sure, on our end, how to maximize with you. We want to collaborate. I think collaboration is very important. So I'm going to give you 8 weeks. Come up with something that you feel could be a very big draw for this company, that you think could be a major element to TV. I'm not asking for creative plans. I'm asking for how you plan to repackage your character, how you plan to change your way of doing things. So you submit promo tapes, you submit training videos, you submit new attire, ideas for new music and merchandise and things that would make you a marketing asset, because obviously that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And if Anthony Bowens came to me and gave me a good idea, maybe it's not 100% polished, but if it's a good idea where I'm like, hey, we could work on this. Okay, let's get a team of people. Let's make this happen. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And then from there, move forward. If it was in NXT, it would be a little bit different, because on NXT, it is developmental. So for NXT, what I would do is slightly different, but I would say, hey, you're going to go to promo class. We're going to send you back to promo class. We're removing you from TV. We're going to send you to promo class. You're going to do training with the people in NXT. In the meantime, you're going to come up with a new character. You're going to come up with these promos. You're going to submit your tapes. We're going to analyze together what we can do. And let's just say, for example, the purpose of releasing them is, hey, we don't have room for you because you're currently on Raw. If you come up with something enticing enough, we as a company will figure out to put you where you are needed. Meaning, hey, you may not be a main event star with this character, but now you fill a gap. Maybe we need more comedy characters. This character works. We'll put you on SmackDown as a comedy character. Hey, this character potentially works on SmackDown or NXT. You know, we have a void with the men's main event scene. We're going to let you go up there for a couple months, get reintroduced to the NXT audience with this character. You know, all of this shit is important. I guarantee you right now, you'll never see your workers work harder for you in your life because you think people really want to lose their job. Absolutely not.
Hell no.
And I swear to God, this is the solution. The problem is billionaires, they have this thing called time is money, and it's a fucking lousy excuse because they feel like they can't make time to invest. That's because billionaires and these companies, they really don't genuinely care. And that's the sad reality. Like,
yeah, it is.
You know, we're talking about people losing their jobs. Obviously, I'm a human being. I don't like the idea of people losing their jobs. And it's a weird thing because I feel like people tiptoe around this, but I think cutting people is just the excuse. And I'm not a person that likes excuses. I'm a person that likes to say, hey, before I give up on you, I've tried absolutely everything possible, which is the reason why I 1,000,000% disagree with releases in pro wrestling. I have always been the type of person, when I was a leader, before I fired somebody, I always thought me firing somebody was a representation of me and how I conduct business.
Yes.
This is not how WWE and AEW are viewed. But when I was a leader, if I had to fire somebody, I always felt like, damn, they failed because I failed them. So before I fire somebody, before I let them go,
every single little detail
I give them work. And I give them very big conversations saying, hey, you're not performing the way we need you to perform. You're not doing the things that we're asking for. You're not doing the things that you agreed to do. I don't want to let you go. You are on the verge of being let go. I'm not trying to kill your morale. I'm not trying to, you know, at the end of the day, you are under contract with us, and I want to give you a fair shot before we cut ties. So this is what we're going to do. And I guarantee you, I promise you on everything, I know for a fucking fact, there is not one person backstage that would sit there and be like, I'm not doing that. And guess what? If that person sits there and says, I'm not doing that, cut them because they didn't want to be there to begin with. And that's the thing. That's the thing. If you have people who work for you that don't want to genuinely be there, you don't fucking waste your money on them. You don't do it. This is not difficult, bro. I should not be spitting these kind of facts, and I'm not a fucking billionaire.
Right, exactly. That's the funny part, is that like, we're sitting here having a conversation like this, and neither of us run any type of company. Big, major company, billionaire company. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Joel says in the chat, he says, you're assuming that's not happening. Might not happen with everyone, but I'm sure there's a handful of people that aren't surprised when they are released. I'll tell you right now, almost every release is a surprise.
Yeah, honestly.
Every release is a surprise. They do not do that.
Walks into work one day and goes, oh yeah, today's the day. I'm done.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you right now, I promise you, they are not having a lot of these conversations. I know they're not having these conversations. Well, I know people.
Go ahead.
I know people who have been released from both companies that have reached out to me and personally told me their experience of how it went down. I'm telling you right now, if Tony Khan and AEW and WWE are having these kind of conversations, WWE and AEW, both of these companies, if they're having those conversations and they're letting people know that they're treading very closely to losing their jobs, I promise you right now, there would have been a change.
Yes.
There would have been a change. And you know how I know that those conversations don't happen? You know how I know that these things don't happen? Because there's a lot of people that have been released that also have not signed with another wrestling company. They chose to go into podcasting. They chose to go into OnlyFans. They chose to get into other careers that were a little bit easier because it was so hard being a professional wrestler. I can't relate to being a professional wrestler because I'm not a professional wrestler. I don't have that athletic background. I don't have that promo ability. I'm not going to act like I can. That's why my channel is obviously me giving you a fan's perspective. However, what I do know is how to run a business, and I know how to make millions and millions of dollars for a business. I've done it before. So the reason why I say that now is because I know workplace culture always tends from being collaborators. Yes. And these companies, billionaires, do not think like collaborators because it is far easier and cheaper, and you waste less time just saying, hey, you're done.
Yeah, agreed.
So
agreed.
Crazy.